Welcome to The Good Life with the Last Disciples, where we speak freely, think critically, and live authentically.
Okay, cool.
Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2.
Y'all.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So my computer is going to force an update in 15 minutes.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, my God.
Yeah, that would have been bad. I'm glad that this started. Okay, I'm going to restart it. It's giving me the option to restart right now. So I'm going to call y'all right back.
Just restart right now. I'm Jaleesa.
I'm Bobby.
I'm E-Money.
And I'm Jocelyn.
And this is episode 4, everybody. Welcome to The Good Life. How y'all doing?
Good.
Feeling good, feeling great.
Very
Feeling great, feeling good.
Awesome. Now, of course, our boy Ryan could not be here today, but he sends his love and his shout out. So shout out to you, Ryan, and you better be back next episode. I'm just saying. Yeah.
Come on back.
All right, so let's get started with the rundown.
So what's good, y'all? What's going on with everybody? How was everybody's holiday?
I had a great holiday.
Yeah, my holiday was dope.
Great.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Any love from Santa Claus?
Oh, I got some love from Santa. Yeah, I got some love. I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, sure.
Wasn't expecting at all,
came to
but
your town. What do you do?
look, he actually came to DC because
Yeah.
I was out there for spending with my sister and my brother. So, but no, it was dope. It was our first holiday with just the siblings, no parents. So that was really cool for us to just kind of kick it and let back. We every meal we made was like a throwback meal from when we were kids. So we like wrote a list of like, what was your favorite meal when we were little, and we wrote all those meals down, and we made a meal every other day of something that we used to eat when we were kids. So it was really cool.
That's so sweet.
That's awesome.
That is really sweet.
Yeah, that's what's beautiful about holidays. You get to spend that time with family. I really enjoyed my holidays for that reason too. I got to spend time with family who I hadn't seen in a while. It had been several months. So we went up to Nashville and got to see my aunt, and she's doing well, and got to see my brother and sister-in-law and my 2 awesome nephews, and got to hang out with them. We only up there for a couple days, but the time we spent, it was really, really special, really good, because I hadn't seen them in a while. So just getting to see everybody, see how everybody had grown, how life had changed, but how it's still home, my home away from home. So that was really good.
That's good. My holiday was decent. That's pretty good, actually. Each of my Christmases my recent ones are now being with my wife's family. So each Christmas is with the in-laws, but it's been a good time. My mom-in-law bought me a cookware bake set because she knows I like to cook. So that was really clutch. I
Come
needed
on
some-
here, mom-in-law.
You know what I'm saying?
Cookware, big set, whatever you just said.
Santa brought in a snowstorm on the day we were supposed to leave, and so we got stranded in Milwaukee for a day.
Oh, yeah. I heard about that. Yeah, it was bad. Yeah.
Then we were stuck in St. Louis, but we made the best out of it. Went and got some St. Louis barbecue and chilled for a minute, and then we finally made our way back home. But it was cool. It was a great holiday, man.
Ooh, that's what's up. Yeah, my holiday was absolutely amazing. I went back home to sunny and hot Miami, Florida, so it was just a beautiful time. And I actually got there a couple days before Christmas. So me and my sisters and my mom went to this really cool all white party in the middle of the design district in Miami. So we just, danced all night and laughed and ate. And it was just, beautiful to spend that time with my sisters and my mom. So shout out to you guys. We looked wonderful, and it was just beautiful to see my mom too, just dancing and just having a good time. So that was beautiful. And Santa definitely came to my town. Mom definitely hooked me up. Shout out to you, Mommy. Because remember I told y'all I wanted a MacBook? Remember I told y'all was laughing at me and everybody was like...
Yes.
So let me tell the listeners. So we talked about what we wanted for Christmas, right? And so everybody wanted to be all Miss Universe, which we won't talk about today.
So we can't be who we are. Okay, that's fine. That's
in
cool.
the beginning,
or whatever.
there was shade.
Yes, palm tree chilling.
And I'm like, and they tell
forest.
me, oh, I just want peace in the world. Oh, I just want love. Oh, and I'm like, look,
That is not what we said, man. Okay.
I want a MacBook. Everybody like, it's making me feel bad because I actually say something material. Well, God honored my honesty and blessed my honesty.
Not honored your honesty. Stop
Hallelujah.
it. Stop it. Hallelujah.
The truth shall what? Make you free. So
I can't.
God bless me.
Oh, Lord.
MacBook Pros. Bless you, mother. And bless you on your ministry. So, it was great. It was a great, great time. I saw the Heat play, and it was just, Miami Heat, that's my team. And so, no shade, Eric. And it was just a beautiful time, y'all. So, life is great. Life was really good.
Well, shade is all over the podcast now. Can't say that now.
But you guys made me feel bad. You guys were like, oh, I just want family and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I thought you guys were going to actually tell me a gift. Like, none of you guys did that. So it made me kind of feel bad.
But that's it. We're saying what we wanted, though.
I did. And look how God honored me so.
Come on, new MacBook.
Yes,
come on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Show it. Let me see it. Come on, no, yes. Come on, Apple. Yes.
He does all things well.
Wait. Can y'all see this though? Can y'all see this? I got this for Christmas.
Hey! Girl, I'm about to shout. I knew you. That there was an anointing on your voice today.
Yes. Come on, new Mike. Work it out, Jesus.
Thank you, Jesus.
Hey.
Bless God for the new mic. Hey.
Yes.
Lord, oh my soul and all that is.
Yes. Come on. Come on. I will bless the Lord. Come on.
At all times through my
Yeah. Come on.
The Lord is good. Oh. So yeah, the holiday was absolutely amazing, y'all. And and also too, I definitely was like really praying that all of us just really had good holidays because we all work hard. Aside from the podcast, we all have full-time jobs and some of us are in school. So I was just really hoping that we took that time to just decompress and just enjoy, the vacation. Mm-hmm. I'm glad that all of us did.
Yeah, for sure. Agreed. And now it's time for Live
So many things I think I know, and other things I think I don't. But the only thing I know for sure is you'll never know if you don't try and see how it goes.
Our first live letter is from Anonymous. Have you ever felt like your degree isn't worth what you thought it was or what you thought it would be?
All the time. If I had known that they were going to tell me that I need to go to school for 12th grade, pass all my classes, go to college, pay damn near dang it, I did it again.
No, be for real. Come on.
I mean, pay damn near $100,000 for a 4-year degree and only make a $25,000 a year. I can't afford to make no GD loan payments. I mean, I've been recently calling Fed Loan to try to make these loan payments, and they want me to pay $500. They only consider my household size and my income. They don't consider my car note, my rent, my car insurance, the other loan that's asking for money, and my, everybody else is asking for money. Sometimes I feel like I should have just went to a trade school. At least there, I'd be coming out making $70,000, and I don't have any excess debt. I mean, it's good to have it. I do think it's good to have a degree, bachelor's, master's, doctor. I should have performed better in school so I can get scholarships. But aside from all of that, I'm looking at these people with high school diplomas. They're making more money than me. Like, come on. That's not how it is supposed to be. I went to school for 4 years, bro.
The system is not. Oh, well, let me not get into my rant, but I will. Come on,
and talk about it.
Start their sentence with the system. You already know where it's gonna go. But I mean, I've been in the same predicament. I feel, you're married, but I've come to understand that the only maybe way you can really get a break is if you're married and have like kids. Like if I had a kid, I mean, I could claim that kid on my taxes. Like a lot of things would probably be on my side. Now, I'm not going to have a child right now, but its system is kind of set up, at least the tax system. It's like, you got to have those things in order to kind of feel a break. If you don't, cause like as a single person, they think, I got all the money in the world to pay them, but they don't understand that I have student loans. I have rent. I mean, I do stay in DC. So you can imagine what my rent looks like. You know what I mean?
Right.
I do have a car. I have to live, you know, and they don't think about that. I gotta eat. They don't think about that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it is crazy. It is crazy.
Agreed. And I think too, when we're getting out of high school, we like have these like dreams and aspirations, like when we kind of talked about this on like maybe episode 2, where it was like, when I'm 25, I'm gonna have this, I'm gonna be straight with this, I'm gonna be good with this. At 27, hell no, I ain't got half. I ain't got half. So it's like, you know, like you thought you would be so, you know, when you in school and it's like, okay, do I need to get a degree that is going to be profitable for me after 4 years, so that when I graduate, I can make the money that I foresee myself making. But we don't always do that. We sometimes we're like, oh, I'll just go to grad school, You don't foresee how tired you might be after getting your bachelor's. You don't know what type of financial hardships might hit you after getting your bachelor's. And so a lot of people have, you know, they go straight and get a job because they're like, bro, I gotta start paying some of this money back or whatever. And the answer to that question is yes. Yeah. Sometimes I'm like, nah, bro, maybe I should have. And maybe not so much like not going to school altogether. Although I have like, damn, I'm cussing a lot. What if I didn't go, you know, but I do think about those things, but also maybe if my major was different, like if I think in high school, I convinced myself that I wasn't a science person, you know? So if I had gotten there and maybe majored in like engineering or, you know what I mean? Something like that's a little bit more profitable for the skills you use afterward, I think might have been a little bit more helpful for me.
Yeah. I mean, I never felt like my degree wasn't worth it, because I think I've always made an effort to make sure that no matter what I do, I see the skills that I learned in my degree through my work. Because that's when I feel like it's not worth it. Not really on the money side, but it's like if I went to school for education, but I'm working as, I don't know, a mechanic, right? Like, at that point, I feel like my degree isn't worth it, because I'm not actually utilizing the time that I went to study, the money, the loans that was spent. Like, I'm not functioning in what I majored in. So I never felt like that. But I work in the nonprofit sector, and even though I make okay, I mean, I'm not necessarily hurting at anything, but I'm not making like, you know, maybe what somebody would make in the private sector. You know what I'm saying? And so that's had to even make me be more smarter with my money. So I've had to come from the realization that, okay, well, I'm not working at a private company. So maybe how can I enjoy what I do, make what I make, and still be able to live how I want to live? So it's actually made me kind of become smarter with money. So it's like, okay, maybe how can I get my expenses down? How can I make sure all my bills are paid on time? How can I remain good credit? So in that sense, like I'm not making what some of my friends are making, but at the same time, it's also taught me how to deal with money as well, and how to live with what I do have.
Agreed. All right. Our second live letter is from Rich. What's up, Rich? Hey. Rich wants to know, how do you measure growth with God if you can't see it? How do you know your relationship with God is growing since you can't see him?
That's a great question. For me, one of the things that I've learned in my own journey, growing in my faith, is that when we're talking about growing in our faith in Christ, one of the ways that we can think about measuring our growth and looking at how we are maturing in faith is by the fruit that we bear, and that comes in the attitudes that we display and the actions that we live into. You know, I think about Paul talking in his letter to the church in Galatians 5:22, when he talks about the fruit of the Spirit. You know, that when we are walking in our relationship with God, then the fruit that comes out of that relationship looks like God, and it looks Christ-like. So when we're growing in our faith, we look like we're more loving. We act more loving. We act more peaceful and more joyful, more patient and kind and gentle and generous. In other words, we look more and more like God. We look like a reflection of God in the world. So I think that's one of the quickest ways that I can think of when it comes to measuring that growth is when you grow in your relationship with God, you begin to look more like God. You begin to look more loving. You begin to look more patient, more holy. You begin to look more Christ-like. And that is an ongoing journey. You know, our faith is an ongoing process and an ongoing journey towards that. For me, what is important in that is that sanctification. You know, it's a kind of an ongoing journey into becoming more and more like God. But I think to base it there, our attitudes and our actions are always where we see in how we live and how we respond and how we treat other people, where our growth with God is. So.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think one of the key words that you mentioned was faith. And I think when you are being introduced to Christianity or deepening your relationship with God, it requires faith. You know, because you're right. He mentioned the question, how do you know your relationship with God is growing since you cannot see him? So because you cannot see this God, there's a faith that has to take place, right? In order to really engage in the relationship. And so once you require that faith to say, okay, I'm going to take this step and going deeper in my relationship with him, then, you know, some of those things require more studying, right? More studying of the word of God, maybe reading scriptures every day, you know, praying in the, you know, instead of just praying at night, you know, maybe, you know, you can pray in the car, you know, while you're driving and kind of building that devotional lifestyle. And, you know, whatever you feed is what you will eventually exude, what you'll eventually show. So like you said, if you continue to read your word, continue to pray and do those fundamental things, then you'll start to see those fruits come out in your everyday life. And so you'll find yourself maybe saying a scripture, you'll be like, oh wait, I remembered that. Oh wow. You know, and then, you know, finding scriptures that are applicable to your life and starting to walk those things out. And so my advice to Rich is, you know, it requires faith, but also taking those foundational steps of reading your word and having a devotional time as far as prayer. Then when you start to do those things consistently, because it requires consistency, you know, you have to build this as a habit. And you'll start to see those things, like as Bobby said, come into fruition. You'll start to see yourself change. You'll start to, you know, hear God. You'll start to understand the word or understand Christianity more and more, you know. So that's my advice to him.
Yeah. And while Bobby was talking, he mentioned actions, and I thought about the word reaction. I have terrible road rage, like terrible road rage. I will curse out the person who gets in front of me, who speeds in front of me, and then they slow down to 5 miles per hour. Like, why? And then in my mind, I'm like, you punk, I call them everything. And so I think about when I noticed my road rage, and then when I said, look, I'm trying to not curse out everybody because so many people die from road rage. They just have somebody else who has worse road rage than them. And I look about my reaction to the circumstance and how I've reacted differently since inviting God in this situation. Without God, I would curse somebody out, but with God, they might get a couple of choice words, but it's not as bad. Or I think about specific struggles or the things that I've struggled with along the way, and I ask God, "Hey God, this is my issue," and I watch the change along the way. So I guess the thing is, watch how God has done things, and watch how you've changed intrinsically. Watch how you've reacted to certain circumstances since inviting God in a situation to fix it. As far as measuring how the relationship with him has grown in that sense. At least that's how I look at it for me. And I'm just answering how I've done things or how I've reflected, because I've had the same question as well prior to.
I agree. And I'd say too, all of what you guys have said, but also, at least I was listening to you talking, you were talking about like praying in the car and just, you know, having more conversation with God. I think you'll definitely be able to tell growth in just being able to a time where you wouldn't have thought to just have a conversation with God in that moment. And the first thing you start to do is turn to God in situations. And it could be, you know, something really great happened, you know, you aced the test or whatever is going on in your life. And the first thing you want to do is talk to God about it. That is one way that I have learned that my relationship with God is going, that God is the first person that I want to talk to about whatever is going on in my life, good or bad.
Definitely.
Yeah, and just one more thing to Rich, and I really appreciate this question, because we've talked about it in episode 2, just about process and to understand that, you know, it's a process and this is a relationship. So anytime you get to know someone, it takes process, it takes time. And so just, you know, understand that, especially when you're right, you're dealing with a God that you cannot see, but that doesn't mean that he isn't there. So if you just take the time to understand that it's a process and just let things happen, you know what I mean, and be consistent and be vigilant in that, then you'll see great things. I just believe that.
And also learning the way that God talks to you. God talks to us so many different ways. And so learning the way that God communicates with you will definitely help you grow in your relationship, because you might look at a friend and say, you know, I don't do that with God, or God, you know, I've never experienced that with God, but maybe God speaks to you in a different way. And one way that I got really close with God is I would just like straight up ask God, Lord, how was your day today? And see what would happen, what things would happen in my life to show me that God was communicating with me about what has happened in God's day, even though I can't fathom in my mind what could possibly happen in the amazing, you know, like infinite God's day. But just the fact that I wanted to know, you know, showed me like, this is not an all-knowing genie that I just go to whenever, but this is somebody that I care about, you know, and somebody that I want to have dialogue with about also not only how my day was, but how God's day is.
Right.
That's
beautiful. That's beautiful.
All right. Thank you for the great live letters. Live letters is where we want to hear from you. If you haven't sent us a question or idea, hit us up. Send us some questions at thelastdisciples@gmail.com. That's THEE lastdisciples@gmail.com, or message us on Facebook at facebook.com/thelastdisciples. Now let's go a little deeper as we talk about today's heart of the matter. But before we do, here's a quick word about the podcast.
Hey, you there. This is Bobby, 1/5 of The Last Disciples. Do us a favor, will you? And rate us on iTunes. You can search us with the Good Life Podcast. Also, please comment on SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/lastdisciples. And now back to the show.
Soul searching, looking for my purpose. I believe if you believe, we can dilute this.
And we're back with our Heart of the Matter topic. So today, y'all, we're talking about New Year, New You, all about New Year's resolutions. So it's the new year, y'all, 2016. We made it.
Hey. Sweet 16. That's what everybody's calling it now. Hey.
I like
Doing
it.
it for the 15s.
I haven't heard that. That's what's up.
Yeah, calling it Sweet 16. Y'all. I'm like, okay, I'm not there with that a little bit.
Yeah, I'm with that. I like that. So since we are in this new year, let's talk about resolutions. Do you all have any New Year's resolutions? Anybody? And do you believe in that type of thing?
I don't.
Kinda.
You do, Eric?
My logic is, if you can start something on New Year's Day, you can start it on any given day. It doesn't have to be a new year for you to start anything that you want to. I get logically why someone would do it. It's a whole new year and you can start from day one. But if it's that important to you, you can start on a random day like June 7th or October 5th. You can start on any given day. So I'm just torn. I'm not with it.
Yeah, that's real. Yeah. And so it sounds like, and I would agree with you on that point, that the benefit of calendars is that they help us when it comes to, living into a new rhythm. Mm-hmm. And so that's definitely the case with New Year's. It's like clean slate, new unity, everything's fresh. And I totally am with that, because I think calendars and time is an important way that we mark our lives. Yeah. On the other hand, I'm with you when it comes to discipline, that if we're really committed to see something through, it doesn't matter what day we started on. It could be, July the 14th, or it could be any other day. And I'm one of those persons, I think that's one of the gifts that God has given me is discipline. So, I'm into, if I know something is right, let me go ahead and try to change wherever it is, whether it's my attitude or my behavior, or, you know, if I want to start an exercise routine or I want to eat better, like, let me go ahead and do that now. And just kind of go and build the habit. Because I think research has shown that if you do something consistently for like 21 days or something, you'll start to build a habit. And so I think the quicker we start doing something, the quicker it has a chance to become a habit. And that can start, you know, January 1st, or it can start, you know, some other time in the new year. So for me, yeah, it's about, once you know something you want to fix or something you want to try, to go ahead and do it. Jump out there and just start making it a habit. You know, like we were talking about habits earlier.
I'm in the same vein. I definitely think that you can, you know, go ahead and start things at any point. I don't have like resolutions for this year, but I do have goals for the year that I want to do. Like this year, I want to have this done. This year, I want to work on this, or I want to get better at this. And I don't necessarily start them on January 1st, like a resolution, but they are things that I kind of have like on a vision board or somewhere where I'm like, okay, I want to have this done by the time I get to this point in the year. So from that standpoint, I think resolutions or goals or, you know, whatever are really great for people because they help us to work to be better. And sometimes they teach us that, you know, okay, I didn't really see that through. What do I need to do next time? You know, I guess they teach us how to set goals for ourselves and stick to them, and, you know, and stick to them if we don't see them through.
Yeah, I put something on Facebook. I think y'all liked it, a status, and I want to read it. But it says, before we begin to post statuses that say New Year, New Me, cutting people off, or 2016 is my year, take some time, some real time to think and pray about what the next year will look like for you. Don't just say it or even write it down. Do yourself a favor and be intentional. Take the necessary steps to make the improvements you wish to see. My friends, only then will true change occur. And so for me, I said all that to say that New Year's resolutions aren't bad. I think if that's what you want to do, like, that's fine, but you have to be intentional about it. You can't just say it or even write it down on your little book, but like, take the necessary steps in order to make that resolution become something that is a completed goal. You know what I mean? So like, if you say, I'm going to get into the gym 2016, I want to get fine, then that's going to take somewhat intentional, necessary steps in order for that to happen. And so for me, I think just my whole theme in life, I think most recently has been intentionality, like just being intentional about the relationships that you build, you know, the professional career steps that you take, you know, whatever, like, be intentional, because only then will you be able to see, you know, things come to pass. You know what I mean? So I don't have New Year's resolutions like Josh. I have goals. Like, I write goals down every year, but those goals aren't new goals. Those are things that more than likely there are things that are building on top of successes that I've had the previous year. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, you know, I don't mind, but that's just, that's just not my thing, you know?
I think it's very important for, like, goals to be about the betterment of you. You know what I'm saying? And like, if you feel like, you talked about, Lise, like the New Year, New Me, I'm cutting y'all off,
Girl,
you know, because you know, whatever. The cutoff ministry is real. And so, like, all of that, like, if you're noticing that people are toxic or that they are not, you know, beneficial to your growth, one, take a step back and also recognize what you may have contributed to the situation. And then move forward. And like you said, being intentional about the goals, because it's not enough to cut people off and then go do the same thing with somebody else. You know, whether it's friendships, romantic relationships, like, you know, familial relationships. If you continue to do the same things, you're going to get the same results. So
that's good.
Being able to take, you know, cut people off. If their draining energy is not helpful to your life and you just know that this is unhealthy, absolutely move forward. Absolutely take the steps you need, but also recognize in every situation what you have contributed and then move forward so that you're not just cutting people off for the sake of saying you did it, but because it's actually going to move you forward and
that's
get
good.
you to where you want to be. You know what I mean?
So good.
Yeah, that's good. So good. Yeah, I totally agree with you there. And y'all, talking about intentionality, one of the things, and kind of with the piece you were just mentioning too, Josh, one of the things that just popped up before me was like accountability. And, you know, along with because the intentionality, like setting the goal is so important. But for me, one of the things that I've learned is I need help when it comes to actually like getting there and like having people to remind me, yeah, this is what you say you're going to do. Or, you know, you have a challenge in this area. Okay. You know, just that, even sometimes just people reminding you, you know, like talking about mantras and goals. A couple years ago, I started to put together like a card that described like what I wanted to live into that year. It was like a goal, but like kind of with you, Swanks, it was like an ongoing goal. So it was like grow deeper and then go higher. Like, so one was talking about like just growing spiritually and how that was going to take off, you know, into vocational life, into other kind of success. And then, this past year, my mantra was stronger every day. And so like my theme this year is like wanting to just feel like I'm stronger physically, like taking better care of myself, like eating right and doing some things that I've already kind of done, but just to have that focus out there. So for me, you know, just even having that card up reminds me, oh, this is what you said you're going to do. Or, you know, whether it's friends saying, this is what you said you're going to do. So the intentionality and the setting it is important. And I think along with that is that accountability so that you're actually like able to meet the goal and able to have some cheering along the process.
Yeah, I saw someone say, it was my older sister, I think on her Instagram profile, but it said that goals are dreams with deadlines. And I was like, I like that, you know, and because, and I like that because we all have dreams, big dreams. Some people's dreams is to be, you know, a singer. Some people's dreams to be a millionaire, the next Oprah, the next TD Jakes, whatever it is. But like goals are when you've put those dreams in motion with a deadline for them to be completed. And so, you know, this year, you know, if your goal, whatever your goals are, you know, maybe some of them are helpful. Maybe not all of them need a deadline, but maybe some of them maybe need one. So you can start to see some changes and it gives you something to look forward to. I think deadlines can be sometimes scary, but at the same time, they can be really good because they can kind of show you if you made the goal or not. And guess what? If you didn't hit the mark exactly how you wanted to, then you might be able to look back and say, okay, maybe I should have did this different. Or like, maybe I shouldn't have had that cookie last night, you know,
that cookie,
or that piece of cake, whatever it is. So I think even setting some deadlines for yourself could be helpful on some of the goals. Now, maybe not all of them, but some of them.
Yeah,
definitely.
And Bobby's so real about accountability because, I mean, shoot, even back when we were friends, I'm going to be like, oh, I'm about to go to the gym. I'm about to start working out. I'm about to get that nice beach body. Every time I go to the gym, I'm literally in there for a week, maybe 2 weeks. And then after that, it's like, I don't know. And I'm realizing that I need to be in some type of structured environment where it's a specific sport where there's an instructor, because if I'm going to the gym on my own, ain't no real work to get done because I don't have that accountability. And just to talk a little personal about some of my goals or things that I want to see this year, I want to work on my own personal discipline and accountability, where if I say I'm going to do something, regardless of the obstacles or circumstances that come my way, nothing's going to get in the way of me achieving that. Cause I used to be that person. I used to be that person where I'll set my mind on something and it doesn't matter how hard the task was, because I said it, I was going to do it. And I've noticed that part of me has died because of certain situations. And there are other things that I want to see happen, but that's my main one, because I just remember specifically just opening up to the podcast viewers. I was unemployed for like a year and a half, and that whole year and a half had taken a lot out of me. And so now I'm working to get all of that stuff back, and not to be new year, new me, but I'm trying to be a new year with a better version of me.
That's good.
That's good.
Does anybody else want to share their goals, or like one goal that you might have for this year?
I was gonna say, I think I already kind of shared mine. But it wasn't stronger every day. But that wasn't a New Year goal as much as it was kind of a birthday goal that kind of lives into the new year. But it's interesting because my birthday is towards the end of the year, in November. So it ends up, becoming new for the new year. So, yeah.
I think I'm going to just be straight up. I'd like to be much more financially responsible this year.
Agreed.
I've been working really, really hard to save my savings, and I'm very happy with where my savings is right now. But I think I just want to, like, if I, right now, I want to be able to get to the point where it's like, like people say you don't even know it's payday. Like I'm really trying to get to that point, like in real life, like you're not even like, oh yeah, today is payday. Like I'm straight. You know what I mean? Like, man, like it really, you know, and just really want to work on that, and just being able to, you know, be able to continue to be as financially responsible as possible. Because I think when we're in undergrad and even in high school, people don't necessarily teach us how to do those things. They just kind of expect you to know how to do that after you graduate. And I think a lot of us struggle with, I got a full-time job. I got some money. Oh, okay. I'm about to go blah, blah, blah. I'm about to go do this. I'm about to go buy these clothes. I'm about to take these trips and da, 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 you know, and then when your car breaks down, you don't have no money, you know? Yep. And so, just learning from those mistakes, you know, post-college and really getting to a point where it's like, you know, I'm good financially. So we just want to be much more, not much more, just want to continue. Like you said, at least these are all goals I'm already working on, but continue to be financially responsible this year. And my goal is to not spend any of my tax money. I'm gonna be straight up. Put it all in, put it all in That's savings. So don't take none of it out. It's all going to savings. Yes.
That is a wonderful that is, yeah. That's good. That's good. That's not my ministry, but that's good.
You gonna bless her ministry too? I'm gonna bless her
amen. So yeah, for me, you know, once again, it's continuing, and so of course it's like, you know, furthering my relationship with God and continuing to succeed professionally, etc. But one of the goals that I really have this year is to continue to travel more. I've done really good at that since I graduated grad school, but you know, now that everyone knows, you know, that I'm starting seminary in the fall, like I'm trying to get a little bit more out, trying to have a little bit more life before that journey starts. And so like my plan is to really line up some trips this year to just things that I maybe, you know, I really want to go out of the country. So I'm trying to plan a couple of those just so I can like just enjoy and see the world. That is so important to me because I like anytime I go somewhere, like I'm exposed to something different, and that leaves a lasting effect on my like outlook on the world. Like that's how I really take travel. So I really want to continue to do that. So hopefully I can go to some exciting places this year.
Where do you want to go, Lise? Where you going for this year?
Definitely. Well, I'm going to the Bahamas for my birthday, which is really exciting. So that I'm trying to do that. I want to, of course, I told you guys I want to go to California. I've never been, and I want to go. So I'm saying 2016. I'm going to Cali. Might be going to another island. I was just talking to one of my good friends today. We're talking about maybe like Jamaica or like Dominican Republic, but if not an island, then we're trying to go to Europe. So maybe Italy. So you know, maybe that can be something that I do. Fingers crossed. So like we're trying to plan like now, being intentional, like I said, and like how much is this gonna cost? Come on. Okay, let's pay on it. Like doing that kind of trip where we like paying on things and not just like, oh, let's just go. Like boom. Like being really responsible and intentional about like the trip that we want. So those are just, you know, that's it. I'm going back to Canada this year. That's a yearly trip, of course. That's just an amazing trip. So of course that, but yeah, that's where I'm trying to go. Cool. Yeah. I do have a question for you guys though. I was listening to another podcast, called Another Round. Shout out to Heaven and Tracy. Of course, I don't know if they listen, but shout out to y'all. But one of the things that they said was, one of the things that they do is, they have like a jar of like accomplishments that they've made. And like they start the new year pulling out an accomplishment, like to kind of give them like kind of that sense that like I am working on myself, I am bettering myself, and it gives them kind of like, you know, that pick me up, you know, to start the new year. So my question to you guys is there an accomplishment that you made in 2015 that you are really, really proud of?
I'll go. I remember sitting at the keyboard on church on Sunday, and I did not know how to play the song at all. Probably the most embarrassing moment of my entire life. And from that moment, I prayed to God, like, yo, I really want to be a good pianist. I really want to do this. My gift literally made room for me to play for the extended family, for the first family. So that's probably one of my biggest accomplishments, to coming from sitting on the keyboard, not knowing the damn song, to playing for the first lady, the president, and their extended family, and they come walk in the room.
Yeah.
That right there was that.
That's
From
awesome.
What you say, Bobby, from glory to glory.
Yes.
Yeah, that's real.
That's awesome.
Started from the bottom. Now I am here.
Yes.
Now I'm
Dope.
here. I think there are a couple of big moments for me this past year, and two of them kind of go together because they happened in the same couple months and were announced in the same week officially. And one of them was, and so for those who don't know, I am when in the ordination process in the United Methodist Church, and that journey took me to the point where I was at the step of becoming a provisional elder, which is basically the step right before being ordained. And so this past June, I was blessed to be ordained in the North Georgia Conference, and that was really, really special. That was a real glory moment. And so I'm so thankful for that. And that was also the same time that I was officially announced as being appointed from my previous church to where I am now at Cascade. And so all of that week was just an amazing experience. There was so much love. It was just such a amazing feeling to get to that point in the journey. So I think that was my accomplishment from this past year.
I think for me, it's been a little second since graduating from undergrad in the AUC, and I took a long break because I needed it. I was so tired mentally from school and going to school in Atlanta. And so I just kept telling myself, yo, I want to get back in school, like applied to programs, got into programs, deferred programs, and just kept not going. But this year I got back into school, started fall 2015. And so one semester down, a few more to go, but that felt really, really good to say I was going to do something and do it.
Yeah.
For me, a couple things. I think just kind of making connections, professional connections that have like elevated my leadership in the community has been really, really great. That was something that I've always wanted, but I thought it was a goal for my 30s. So seeing those goals, manifest themselves at 26 is like, oh wow, thank you. That was great. Also, of course, I'm going to seminary, which is a really big accomplishment, but this year was a year, 2015, was a year of faith on a different level, because I felt like, I'm going to be transparent to our listeners, and, of course I can talk to you guys all day, but like I felt this call for higher education, and I thought it was a PhD, in education. And so I was doing everything I needed to do, restudying for the GRE and doing all these different things, like visiting like school visits and all these different things. And like, but for some reason, like it didn't feel right, And so usually I'm the kind of person where I'm very direct. I know what I want and I get it. But for some reason it wasn't as clear. And so I had to really take a step back and really trust God and like say, what do you want? And that was another level of faith, because I usually always kind of know what he wants. Like, I kind of always like, okay, I know, I got the next step. And so to be able to trust him and then see me being blessed by trusting him and going down the road he wants me to go, and not necessarily the road that I thought I should have gone, that was a big accomplishment for me, because I was able to experience God on another level in a different way. You know what I mean? So that was a goal for me. And then just, of course, like getting more involved at my church, getting more involved there, and seeing them take my involvement seriously has been awesome as well. So, those are big accomplishments for me, for sure.
That's great.
All right. I understand we all have some great goals. We had some conversation about the New Year's, our resolutions, our goals, and things we want to see. So the question now is, where do you see the good life in your new year?
I'll go real quick. I see the good life in my new year by living the good life. living what we stand for, which is speaking freely, thinking
That's
critically,
good.
and living authentically. That is the good life, and that's what I want to do more of this year. I want to be able to speak freely, so creating those spaces to have conversations about anything, if it's spirituality, if it's, you know, career, whatever. I want to be able to create those spaces for my friends and for others that I come in contact with. Of course, like, I want to, you know, live authentically. I want to be me, you know what I'm saying? I want to be exactly who I'm supposed to be, and I want to continue to progress in that way. And of course I need to think, like, making wise decisions, like spending my money on the right things, like Josh said, you know what I'm saying? Or, you know, like what Eric said, like just being wiser and like thinking more critically about the decisions that I make and the people I come in contact with and how I present myself to the world. Being, you know, thinking critically in that way, I think that's the good life, and I'm on the good life train, y'all. That's what I'm trying to do this year. Hey,
welcome to the good life.
Welcome to the good life. Yeah, I'm with it. I like the good life train there too. I think for me, the good life in the new year is, and Swank, you kind of spoke to it. For me, is just that commitment to get better. That constant drive to get better in all aspects of my life, you know, in my personal life and in my relationships with people and in the way that I steward, you know, what God has given me in terms of stuff and in my vocation and in my own being true and being authentic. Just that commitment to get better is the good life for me, because kind of like what we were going to earlier, that challenge of being intentional and constantly recognizing our days as a chance to grow and as a journey to improve. That's what I see the good life as, is that commitment not to be complacent, but to keep getting better and to, in doing so, really affect people around you quickly. I had a youth group with my youth today. And one of the things that I was sharing with them was just how reminding them how their life can be a light to other people, to their peers, sometimes just by the way that they are, by who they are. And I think that can happen when it comes to committing yourself to improve. So that's my my understanding of the good life in this Sweet 16. Y'all.
Yeah. One thing I'm realizing is that I feel like the stuff that we are talking about doing is really setting us up so that when we in our 40s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, we're really going to be living a legit good life.
Yeah.
But my perspective has really been focused on like the future. Like, what am I doing to set up my legacy with my children? So everything that I'm doing is so legacy focused right now. Especially like right at the brink of talking about kids. So my good life is really, I'm not worrying about me, but what are my kids going to be? How are they going to be taken care of? How are my kids going to be taken care of?
That's good.
In the words of J. Cole, I want my kids to talk about the things that I've done.
That's good.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's dope.
I love that. Yeah. I listen to all y'all, man, and I just hear like living authentically, like figuring out exactly who we are, who we're supposed to be, and being true to that, you know, in a world where people want us to kind of all be the same and do the same thing and look the same. Just like the good life in my new year is being myself and being unapologetically myself in any situation.
That's good.
Yes. That's
Well, that's it, y'all. Episode 4. It is officially a wrap.
Hey!
We did it. We made it.
But before we go, as always, we have to ask the question, what's good in your life this week?
I actually have the privilege and honor to announce that my mentoring brother to brother program will launch the first week in February with my job. So yes.
No.
Awesome.
I'm so hard to make it come.
That is great.
You already at it. That's awesome.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, indeed.
And
well, for me, what's good in my life this week? Since this podcast, I've become a number nerd. So I've done a lot of stats, trying to understand who's listening to the podcast. And we've been blessed to know that not only are people, of course, in the States listening to us, but there are people international that are listening to us. So shout out to the folks in Australia. Shout out to y'all. shout out for you.
Shout out.
Listening, and please reach out to us, write us, whatever, any questions you might have. We would love to hear from you. Also the UK, shout out to the UK, shout out to Libya, Trinidad and Tobago. Just shout out to the international community that is really taking form and really listening to us. We love you, and hopefully we can see you at some point. Hopefully we can see you guys at some point. So shout out to our listeners.
Yeah.
Let's see y'all.
Definitely a good piece there. Several good things happening this week. One of them I want to lift up is I was honored that in our church's district, I was invited to lead a workshop on youth ministry called Super Youth Explosion. And this is with me being not early to ministry, but early in kind of focusing on youth ministry. And God was good. People received it very well and had a lot of good reviews on it. So I was really honored and humbled to do something like that and to know that it went well. I'm very thankful for that.
I say two things. First of all, it's my last week to enjoy myself before the semester starts. So what's good in my life this week, I got 7 days to kick it and to just enjoy coming home after work and chilling, not having to do homework and study. And the other thing is I've been feeling like I should write a book. So just feeling good. Started a really cool reading list and just want to move forward in writing. And my mom was an English teacher, so in the summer we were doing book reports instead of kicking it outside in the sun. So it's in my blood. So
that's awesome.
Well, guys, that's been great. Thank you guys so much for listening. Once again, don't forget us to check us out on the web at www.lastdisciples.info. Also, you can subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and SoundCloud at www.soundcloud.com/lastdisciples. Also, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Last Disciples, and like us on Facebook at facebook.com/TheLastDisciples. That's THEE. Last Disciples. And now we're out. See you next month. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Felicia.